So is authenticity just another self-help slogan? Or does it actually mean something? Is be yourself a path to freedom, or just a clever way to sell products and books? Could authenticity actually be the calling card of a narcissist? Is there even a real you to be authentic to, or are we just all stories in motion? And what if authenticity isn't about trying to be better than society or others, but engaging with society and others more truthfully? So in the next 10 minutes, I'm going to do a quick deep dive into this. So instead of just listening to the usual pop psychology, I thought we should take a look at what a philosopher has to say. And his name is Somogy Varga. And he thinks authenticity isn't just a self-help cliche. He thinks it's a powerful ethical ideal, but only if we get it right. So in the next 10 minutes, I'm going to break down his amazing book, Authenticity as an Ethical Ideal, and show you how to live more genuinely without turning into a self-absorbed caricature of being real. So let's dive in. So, first things first, what is authenticity? Well, at its core, authenticity means living in alignment with your true self, not pretending and not performing, not blindly following the latest trend. But here's the twist. Varga says that authenticity isn't just about looking inward and following every impulse or our own inner needs. He believed that was too shallow. He shows that there are two major ways that philosophers have thought about authenticity. The first says that you have a true self inside, and your job is to discover it and live in harmony with it. The other says there is no fixed self. Instead, you create who you are through your actions, your choices. Either way, because of religious ideals and traditional ideals kind of being worn away, authenticity, I suppose, has become like a modern guidepost, especially in a world, like I said, where these traditional values and roles have kind of crumbled. And it's left this gap. And in this gap, people and influencers and moneymakers often dare tell us, well, the solution is just be yourself. But see, here's the catch with just being yourself. Varga says this ideal has a dark side, and in today's world, being authentic can easily turn into self-indulgence, narcissism, consumer branding, or I suppose even worse, just a way to excuse bad behavior with, well, I'm just being me, as the great out, the great excuse. We've all seen it. People who confuse authenticity with selfishness, or they build personal brands that scream, look at me, look how real I am. Well, we all know they're just being totally fake underneath. And so Varga argues that authenticity and modern capitalism have actually grown up together now, hand in hand. And we live in a culture that markets individuality. Be unique, find your passion, be yourself, buy this, be you. And in this system, authenticity obviously gets hollowed out. Instead of helping us live well, and it gets used to just sell things and justify selfishness. So what are we going to do about this? Do we throw out the whole idea of authenticity? Well, Varga says no. He says we just need to dig a little deeper. And so Varga's mission is to rescue authenticity and rebuild it as a meaningful ethical ideal. And to do that, he combines ideas from moral philosophy, so that we ground it in some form of responsibility, in phenomenology, so to honor what it feels like to be truly authentic. He brings in the ideas of critical theory, and so how we kind of authenticity might shape our social systems and how we think about ourselves and society at large. And so his version of authenticity, I think, is pretty profound. It's simple, but profound. It's not just what, I suppose, it's not just doing what feels right. You know, everyone's like, talks about their emotional guidance and doing what feels right. Well, I've always thought that was insane anyway. He believes it's much more about wholeheartedly committing to values that truly matter. Values that are yours, but that also live within a larger moral world and social context. So let's say that again. So authenticity, according to Varga, means living with deep commitment to your values, wholeheartedly living your deep values, but within the context of a shared human story, shared human meaning. In other words, it's not enough just to feel sincere and do things because you feel they feel right for you. you've got to kind of align your life with something bigger than yourself, something that positively influences others and society at large. Varga borrows from the philosopher Charles Taylor, who says that we all live within what he called horizons of significance, which in plain terms, as far as I can understand, it means that your life isn't lived in a vacuum. We all grow up inside a world with language and history, culture and values, and we're surrounded by ideas of what matters, of what's good, what's bad, what's beautiful, what's worth striving for. And so authenticity, it isn't about rejecting society and just becoming this selfish hermit. And it's not about doing whatever feels right in the moment and just being yourself. It's about choosing your path within this shared human world, consciously and deliberately and meaningfully in a way that contributes. When you say, this is who I am, you're not meant to be cutting yourself off from others and siloing yourself into, this is just me and my world and that's all that matters. You're meant to be anchoring yourself to values that connect you to something larger. Being a doctor or a teacher, an artist, a parent, these aren't just meant to be roles that we put on. They're meant to be authentic callings that we can express our values through because they serve something beyond just our own personal self. And that's the core insight. Real authenticity isn't selfish. It's not a performance. It's not isolated. It's social. It's moral. It's chosen. It's saying, this is who I am, not because the culture has told me to be this way, or because of how I dress, or the music I listen to, or my peer group's thoughts, or just because I feel like using it as an excuse to do whatever I want, but because I've reflected on it, and I believe in it, and I see its value for myself and others. Varga also talked about this idea called the paradox of authenticity, which is kind of funny. It's like when someone tells you to be spontaneous and you try and be spontaneous, you haven't been spontaneous because you've been told to be spontaneous. And so when someone says, well, be authentic, but if we force ourselves to be authentic, or if society pressures us to be unique, well, aren't we just performing again? We're not being unique. We're performing a role. We're doing what someone else told us to do. So yeah, that's the trap. Authenticity can't be imposed from outside in. Yeah, it can be inferred, we can learn from the outside, but it has to come from within, from honest self-reflection and free choice. And so Varga keeps his definition of authenticity minimal and flexible. He's not telling you what kind of life you should live. He's just saying if you want to live authentically and really feel authentic in a genuine way, then you have to make sure it's committed, wholehearted, and ethically aware at the same time. And so that's what makes it an ideal rather than a checklist or a performance, like I keep on saying. It inspires rather than commands. It's real rather than performative. It's not borrowed. It's innate. And so authenticity, according to Somogy Varga, is not just about being different or doing whatever you want. Like I've repeatedly said, it's about becoming who you truly are through reflection, through commitment, and by aligning your life with values that matter not just to you, but to us as humans, as a collective. And it's a deep, ongoing process. It requires contemplation and commitment and consistency. And so in a world full of noise and marketing and pressure to perform, choosing to live authentically might just be one of the most honest and radical things you could ever do. To live wholeheartedly aligned to truly important values, while understanding that to do this just for yourself is likely narcissism. But when it respects and even enhances others, it becomes true authenticity. So anyway, I hope you found this 10 minutes helpful. Please like and subscribe and share if you feel it's useful and worthy of that. Drop a comment below, maybe tell me what you think authenticity is, challenge any of my ideas, add to them, contribute. But thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next time.